2-1 at home to Nottingham Forest, where Semenyo picked up where he left off, Michael, in his last City appearance.
Yeah, I mean, what a signing. This is a lovely finish as well. I just love the way he doesn't get too excited, he doesn't snatch at it, he doesn't meet it at its nearest point, he just lets it come across his body, opens the goal out, opens his body out and finishes it lovely. But Nottingham Forest, they were never out of this game, really. They are a dangerous team. They have got pace in their team. They got bodies in the box. You know, their squad, when you look at it on paper, is very good. I thought this defender by Aït-Nouri was poor, but after that, what a goal from Nottingham Forest. How they've kept the ball alive, and then Gibbs White there with an impromptu finish. What a finish this is. I would never think about this. I'd be thinking, right, how do I get hold of this? Where's my midfielder? Lay it off for an oncoming player. But, wow, what about that? And then Rodri pops up. We initially thought that might have touched Semenyo, but it doesn't. It actually touches the defender, Ray.
Yeah, absolutely. Rodri pops up as he does on many occasions. And this one, now I'm looking at it, and I think Haaland knew exactly what he was doing. He knew the keeper's rushing out, and he just gets a toe on it. And I think they were a little bit lucky there, Forest. On another time, that would have been given as well as a penalty. And I'm sure Pep will look at it. As you see there, he runs into the you can see him get a whack there. But, yeah, I mean, that was contentious for a penalty. And this is a wonderful goal. You could argue Foden, look, track your runner. But good little 1-2 there, and what a finish from Anderson. We know he could be starting for England in that World Cup, but that is a really important goal for a really important point at the bottom of the table. But you just see that from the outside. Donnarumma's been top goalkeeper, but he had no chance there. And a brilliant point from Forest's point of view.
Yeah, that was a big moment at 2-1, though. Sells on Haaland. What did you think?
Yeah, I've been there before. I think it's probably a penalty, but I know for a fact that Haaland is playing for it. When we had that angle from behind Haaland, you can actually see Haaland almost, his right leg doesn't necessarily run where it should. He almost pushes it into the goalkeeper. However, the goalkeeper does come out, does give him the excuse. This is the angle. Watch his right leg. The ball's way to the left, and he actually jumps a little bit to the right to find the contact. Listen, it's absolutely normal. It's absolutely what you would do. And on balance, some of these are sort of, oh, yeah, you can see both ways. But on balance, I do think it's a penalty. I don't think the goalkeeper should be running out and giving Haaland any excuse to put his leg there. So I think Forest got away with one.
Interesting. OK, 2-2 at the Etihad. Here's Pep Guardiola's reaction.
Pep, how do you reflect on your side's performance tonight?
Yeah, disappointed for the result. We did everything. Again, we didn't concede much, and yeah, we had the chances at the end especially, but during the game as well. But yeah, keep going.
Mm-hmm. There was a couple of penalty claims for your side. How did you see them?
Nothing to say.
Nothing? OK, so you're saying look forward. There's still plenty of points still to play for. This takes it out of your hands. But how can you draw on your previous experiences to help the team in the remaining matches?
Now we go to Newcastle to play FA Cup, Madrid Champions League, and game by game.
Yeah, the games are coming thick and fast. As the mentality within that dressing room, I mean, do you feel you'll need to pick them up for that Newcastle game, or do you feel the motivation will be enhanced?
We are used to play a lot of competition and go for that game.
Do you feel there'll be more twists and turns in the title race?
We have a lot of games to play, so we have to continue.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But that is the crucial thing, though, Michael. We were saying at the start that it was in both teams' hands. Now it isn't. Yeah. Now it isn't in City's hands.
Big night. We knew it was a big night coming into tonight. Top two both playing at the same time. Both with games that you would have expected them to win, but I said at the start, I think they will both win, but none of them are gimmies. And, you know, Forest have got so much to play for themselves. They're fighting for their lives, especially with West Ham doing so well and teams around them picking up points. They had to try to get something today. And as I said, Forest have got a good squad. You know, that squad can't be taken lightly. So it was a big night. Could be a pivotal night in the title race, but there are still plenty of games to go. Manchester City simply can't slip up again, though. They can't go further away. They've got to put the pressure on Arsenal from now on in.
What's it like when you come off the pitch and you've done your job, and then someone says to you, "Oh, they've drawn or they've lost"? I mean, how?
It's a massive bonus. It really is a massive bonus. You're walking off. All you're interested in is your result, but when you hear your local rivals and the team you're going to be going all the way with you have dropped points, it's a massive, massive boost. It really is for the players. So they'll be absolutely delighted with the result themselves, but they'll also be delighted with what happened at the Etihad. And obviously, as Michael says, there's lots and lots of football still to be played, but you want them, the little bonuses along the way. And now it is in Arsenal's hands. So it's all down. And I'm sure the fans enjoy their journey on the way home, the Arsenal fans. As you can see, they're celebrating the win, but they're also celebrating the 2 points drop for Man City.
I think if you had asked Arsenal before the night, if they had just sustained and kept their difference, they would have been happy. On paper, I think that they probably had the harder game. They're playing against someone higher in the league. They're away from home. Manchester City obviously playing at home against a team fourth from bottom. So I think if you'd said to Arsenal, you're both going to draw or you're both going to win, they would have snapped your hand off. To gain 2 points on a night like tonight, double bonus for them.
Yeah, and reminder what is left for these two teams. It isn't in City's hands now, and City have just played, actually. Forest, of course, battling for their lives. Their next Premier League game is away at West Ham. Before that, they got the FA Cup at Newcastle and an away trip to Real Madrid as well. Mansfield and Leverkusen for Arsenal before they play Everton. And then, of course, that big game at Wembley between the two, and then the meeting at the Etihad in match week 30.
Some huge games there, Steve. But if you just take the Premier League games in isolation, you've got Manchester City going away at West Ham and Arsenal playing at home to Everton. And then you've got Manchester City going away to Chelsea while Arsenal are at home to Bournemouth. And then they play each other, and it's at, obviously,
the Etihad.
At the Etihad. But those two games, I would almost say that Arsenal have got the easier two games. West Ham away and Chelsea away for Manchester City. They're two difficult games. So, again, from City's point of view, they need to just keep tabs now. They need to keep matching them and then hope that when they play each other, that they win.
You're making Ray very excited with that analysis there.
No, I certainly believe that Arsenal got the better running. Last year, they probably had the harder running, but this year, certainly there's games there, especially home games. The crowd will be really up for it now because they know they've got that gap. And as Michael says, West Ham are fighting for their lives. Chelsea, we saw their result tonight, a really good performance. So as an easy game at Stamford Bridge. So Arsenal certainly in pole position, as they say.
OK, when we come back, we will round up the other three games, all